And gentlemen, Stephen Benoit Jericho here. It is glad to be back after that extended holiday break that we went on behalf of HWA. It's very nice to be back, and it's nice seeing so many faces out there checking out episode 5 of The Origins. Now, episode 5, we have a special guest. He is an entertainer extraordinaire, not necessarily just his fantastic in-ring career, but also he's been successful in the music industry. He has been successful in his fashion designing and clothing industry that he has. It is great to have you here, the Carolina Hunter, Trey Jeter himself. How are you, Trey?
I'm doing good. Stephen Benoit, how are you doing, Sam?
I am great now that I am back, and finally, you've been wanting to be on this show since the very beginning stages of introducing it to the public. Yeah. So it is great to finally have you part of it. Now, let's get kind of right into this, Trey, all right? You grew up in South Carolina, correct?
Oh, yeah, North Charleston, baby. Let's get it. Let's go.
There we go. So, now I've heard that there is a lot of hunting and fishing and things like that that go on out there, correct?
Yeah, especially once you get up towards more of the country parts of South Carolina. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of hunting, fishing, mud digging, mud bogging. Anything that you can think of, I've done it.
So that's how you grew up as a child. So what interests me the most, now wrestling is huge there, no doubt about that. So what I want to know is, though you grew up mud bogging and hunting and fishing, how did you get into the fashion design part of things and the hip-hop industry?
Well, in the South, hip-hop is a big thing. As you know, you got your people from Atlanta, like Ludacris and Amigos and all them growing up coming straight out of North Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So, hip hop is kind of big down here. You got people down in like Louisiana, Mississippi. You got them rappers down there, and it's just a big thing in the South because during the 90s and like the late 80s, well, mostly in the 90s, it was the East Coast versus the West Coast, but the South wasn't considered East Coast like that. So the South had to come up with their own type of rap style.
A very cool little deep delve into the hip-hop genre from where you're from. I like that. Everyone tuning in, again, we have Trey Jeter here, so make sure you click that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. New Breed, thank you for jumping in here. Sander Cool, CSWA, that's James Sargent. Thank you all for checking in. Make sure as you check in or check back, you click that like button. Now, Trey, you've been wrestling, I've heard, since you were very young. Amateur career, huge established. You've won titles all over the world. What was it that got you in to the wrestling business?
Two things. One is third generation all the way around. My pops, granddad, me. Third generation. That's one. Two, my best friend who helped me start my show, WWA, Dylan the Razor Weights. Being the third generation and him was the reason I got into wrestling. Because originally, I didn't want to go into wrestling. My older sister, Felicity, she was a wrestler. My older brother, Jason, is a wrestler. And like I said, granddad and my pops were both wrestlers. I really didn't want to, I was trying not to be like them. I was trying to be music design, music and fashion design.
So that's what happened first, before you got into wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was basically, you could say, music and fashion was your first dream, your first love, and
Oh
wrestling
yeah.
was kind of you're trying to rebel basically from that.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely trying to rebel against the family.
Okay.
And especially since I didn't grow up in Hawaii with my mom, with my pops. Grew up in South Carolina with my mom's, and it was kind of like, I don't want to do this. It's like I didn't really get the whole thing of them at the time, and it's like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
Now that Hawaiian or Samoan background, it's almost foretold that you have some sort of wrestling career. Now, how old were you when you finally, decided to dip your toe in the wrestling waters, per se?
About 16.
16-year-old, and that's the time when people are usually going the opposite way. Usually you hear stories of, the kid growing up with the family business, kind of into it a little bit, then they start, hitting their teenage years and start to rebel a little bit. Now it sounds like you went the opposite way.
Yeah.
Older teenager, it sounds like you started finally getting into it.
Yeah. Again, my best friend, Dylan the Razor Weights, he kind of helped push that along and convince me. He's like, bro, come on, you gotta. He's like, I know you don't want to do it because of, your family, but come on, man. He's like, I've seen what you can do. Why not go ahead and do it? And
now,
I was just like,
how did he see what you could do if you hadn't really been in wrestling yet?
Because during the summers, I did go to Hawaii. I did go to Hawaii during the summers. So, the summer, because my birthday's in the summer, so that's how I got it. I said I was about 16. Because the day I turned 16, Pops and Granddad and my brother Jason, they were like, yo, let's take him out to the ring. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we're going to take you out to the ring, and we're going to see if you actually have the talent like the rest of the family. I was like, oh, shit, I don't want to do this. I was like, fuck it. All right, let's go. So, I'm in there with Jason. My brother Jason is a tall motherfucker. Jason is about...
I've seen Jason I've seen him in person, but I don't think I've really seen him much in the ring.
Oh, Jason is about... you've met like I said, you met Jason. Jason is he's about damn near 7 feet tall. I'm 6 even. So,
no
at the
doubt.
time,
I've seen several family pictures.
So, Jason is a big motherfucker. And I took down Jason.
Yeah, you've always been known to be very athletic and have a very strong core that generates a lot of your power and your explosiveness that we've all, seen throughout your career, from the high flying to the great, on the mat abilities. So it came from a young age, and you were just basically born with great genetics, and it's in your DNA, you could say.
Yeah, because I took down Jason. I just heard my dad, my granddad, and they were like, "Oh shit!"
And Jason had been training his whole life, basically, correct?
Oh yeah. Jason had been, him and Felicity had been training their whole lives for this shit. And then I came in, 16-year-old. They're like, let's see what this motherfucker got. I take down Jason. They're like, oh shit, he should. It's like, why wasn't he not here with us this whole time?
And that's where it kind of clicked. Like, you can really do this, and you had fun. I'm guessing at this point.
Oh yeah, I had fun taking out my big brother in a wrestling ring, knowing he's been traveling from Japan and everywhere else, and I took him down. Shit, let's go.
So, your early days of training, you hit 16. You finally got a taste for the family business. Now, did you just train primarily in your family's training facility, or did you venture off and train with anyone else notable in the wrestling world? Like, where did you really dig in and start absorbing and taking in your ability?
North Carolina. After I graduated, and after me and my buddy Dylan graduated, we went to go see Steve Corino in North Carolina. And then we went from, so then, we go to North Carolina, train about 2.5 years, and then go to WWE for a little bit.
You trained in the WWE for a little while.
Well, after we left Steve Corino, we went to WWE.
Okay.
And we came, back then we were masked wrestlers. We were luchadors.
I'm going to have to see if I can get any old school Trey Jeter masked pictures. I don't think I have any in my archives.
Oh, I will definitely get you some. I will get you some. We were known as the Daredevils. Well, no, actually, before the Daredevils, we were known as Mystical Alliance. That's what it was. We were known as Mystical Alliance. I was Black Falcon, and he was Red Phoenix. So we wrestled as a tag team in mass for a while, and then the draft happened and we got split up.
Now, everyone, I see Ian just jumped on, the Scottish Warrior. I am reading those of you. I'm trying not to interrupt Trey as he's talking and doing his deep delve here. But if any of you that are watching have questions for the Carolina Hunter, make sure you remember to shoot them on there. Trey will answer them. I'm sure he's watching the feed as I am. If he's not paying too much attention, I'll do my best to read through and shoot any questions out there. But again, Trey Jeter here with us, folks. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, as you all have been great about doing. Again, now Trey is just getting into his early days. He started off, it was a family business in Hawaii. Raised in South Carolina. He kind of rebelled against the family business a little bit as he was growing up, but then he hit 16. He got into it finally and started training, actually training with the WWE for a little while early on as a luchador-style wrestler, all masks. So where was the first real breakthrough? Was it an amateur after... Your stint with the WWE didn't last very long, I don't think, correct?
No, me and him, after we took off the mask, I think we stayed there for 6 more months, and then we both were released. And then we just kind of went to the indie scene for a little bit. We went to New Japan. For a good stint. We were in Japan for a good little while.
Didn't you put the mask back on in New Japan at first?
At first, for like the first 2-3 months, we both were in there as Mystical Alliance. And then one day backstage, around this time, we got hit up from Tamatonga. And he's like, "The fuck are you two doing?" Like, what? He's like, "The fuck are you two doing?" I'm like, "What do you mean, man?" He's like, "Why are you wearing masks?" I'm like, "Well, we kind of started our career in masks, and like we decided, new place, new scenery, to go back into it." He's like, "No, take them shits off and come join us." I'm like, what? So that was around the time me and him, me and my buddy Dylan, joined Bullet Club. So
you've been in part of some of the premier factions throughout your wrestling career, and it seemed to have started very early. So you had to be probably 19 years old at this point, joining one of the most recognized factions in the history of the industry.
1920, so 1920, right around there.
So a real young kid. So that's a very early start for most of the members of that faction. Usually, they're, by the time you get into the Bullet Club, you're a little bit seasoned, mid-20s at least, right?
Yeah.
So, when you broke into this, we'll call it the more standard E-Fed scene, the federations that we all know a little bit more of. Where was the first place stateside once you got established here, early 20s, that you broke into?
I would definitely say, because I had to wrestle stateside after WWE before I went to Japan for a little bit, and that's how WWE came to be. It was because of some backstage territory bullshit. That I was like, I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm getting the fuck out. I'm starting my own shit. And then that's when we kind of went to Japan, and then while we were trying to build WWE, we kind of like everybody in WWE, we got it started. It was running by itself pretty much, and we're like, fuck it, we're going to Japan.
Okay. So I'd forgot about that. You actually were one of the founding fathers of WWA, which now has become very successful. And you continue to compete not only in WWA, but you've expanded out, and you've been in several feds at the same time. So basically you have you started the business with the money that I'm guessing from your entertainment career, as far as your hip-hop and fashion, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit of that at first. That's where you started, and then your investors finished it off. So I met you. You were a little bit more seasoned when I met you. You were over in, I believe, IWA, I think I saw you wrestle, when I was finally starting to get out of calling for the amateur scene and being a little more mainstream. I saw you wrestling in IWA.
Yep.
Now, over there, I believe we're in the middle of a long title reign of sorts in IWA when I first met you over there. What was it, 3-4 years ago?
Yeah, it was pretty long, and I forgot what title it was because it's been about, like you said, 3-4 years. It's been a while. So
it's probably safe to say you've held more titles than you can remember at this point in your career. So now, a little more of the past. Were there any notable rivalries that you can think of right now that you could consider as some as your favorite? You don't have to narrow it down to just one.
Oh no! Oh, it's one. It is one.
Okay.
It is one that has stemmed for years on years on years on years, and I'm just like, God damn it! This shit is fucking horrible. I would take you back to the beginning of my career in a little promotion known as Crash Collision Wrestling, CCW. There was a guy named Crow, and was kind of a dick. Let's put it like that. He was kind of a dick, and so he was the world champion at the time. And he had this girl with him named Teresa. Well, back then she was going by the name Angel. And he was treating her like shit. And you know me, growing up Southern gentleman, I didn't like that shit. Not one bit.
Kind of like a Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth sort of comparison, you'd say.
Yeah. He was treating her like shit. And but boy, I was like, so one day I heard them arguing and yelling, and And I was chilling with Dylan. I was like, I'm about to go say something. He's like, bro, don't go say shit. He's like, that's gonna be a hell of a lot of trouble. I'm like, bro, I just can't sit here and let this happen. He's like, all right, whatever happens, it's on your head. I'm out of this. I'm like, all right, cool. So I get down the hall to their locker room, and he's about to hit her, and I spear the shit out of him.
It's a hell of a way to stop an argument.
And well, he was about to hit her, and I was like, nope, I'm not about to let you hit a female, bro. So I just speared the living shit out of him. And I'm like, nope, I'm not letting this go down. Spear.
Now, who is this gentleman that you're speaking of that you've been feuding with?
Crow Yosef. If you've watched WWA, he was in a faction with his brothers known as OTF, Only the Family. Yeah. It was him, his older brother Crack, and his little brother Tone Loc.
Now, where can people catch that action? What's the YouTube channel?
They can search on WWA Blacklisted and the WWA Network. Eventually, all old school matches will probably eventually be on WWA Network and the Power Org Network.
So here in this spot, I'll try to, once this video gets up and the process is complete, folks, I will go back through and I will add links to those shows for you through the YouTube channel for you, so you can watch some of those videos if you like. We're all about building community here in Hybrid. That's where the name came from. So make sure, as you are taking part in these Hybrid Origins, don't be afraid to don't feel like you can't share your own company's names or give a shout out to other individuals, or this is all about bringing all these different wrestling communities together. There is no hate here. Hybrid Wrestling Alliance, we are the company that stays out of the beefs between other shows. We kind of try to draw them back together if we can. So make sure you give shout-outs to the places that you feel like are your homes here. As for Trey Jeter, it's WWA.
And JTV.
And JTV. So we will try to add those to either the end of the show, links to those. So make sure you jump back in and check that out if you need help finding that after. Now,
or just message me.
Or message either one of us. Trey Jeter, shoot him up in his personal messenger, and he'll get you the link. So we've got a very interested party here. It seems Mr. Scottish Warrior Ian Cleland is showing some interest in possibly having a match with you in the future. It doesn't look like he's ever been in the ring with you, and he's kind of wanted to toe the line. I know neither one of you are active in HWA. Ian recently requested his departure. I'm not sure exactly what he and HWA management had for an issue, but apparently there was some sort of misunderstanding. So that apparently won't happen here. So he's going to have to find a place if he wants to face Mr. Trey Jeter. So the two of you can work that out on your own. Now, that brings us to another question that Ian had. Ian wants to know if there's anyone out there that you would like to face that you haven't already fought.
That I haven't already fought? Ooh, shit.
It's probably a short list, I bet.
Number one name I can think of is at the top of my list. Is some of you may know him, some of you may not, but this is totally for respect and respect purposes only. I want to face Kevin Impact, the global phenomenon, box office hit Kevin Impact.
Definitely, all of us know Kevin Impact. Well, I do. I am not as intimate with him, but I've seen the name throughout the industry and throughout different communities. I don't think I've really seen him in the ring, though.
He's wrestled a few matches. He's wrestled some in JTV, where he started, of course, JTV, BCW. Shout out to my boy Craig Mack. But I want to test myself. That's why I want to face him. I want to test myself. I want to test myself and see if I can hold my own with Kevin Impact.
Now, you mentioned Craig Mack. Is Craig Mack the gentleman that we see in his profile picture? Looks like he's actually lifting up the back end of a car.
No. Craig, he's a firefighter. That's a friend of mine. He runs BCW, Boston Championship Wrestling. And where I'm actually a dual champion there, I think it's the hardcore title, and I can't remember the name of the other title right now. I'm drawing a blank. But I'm a dual champion there, where I also won, where also in the end of the match, the winner of that match got $1 million. So.
Okay. Nice
so
little chunk of change there.
Yeah. And I got $1 million, so that was blown very fast. Very, very fast.
I'd say you've made multiple millions, we'll say, throughout your career anyway, so you do a lot of donating.
Yes.
What are some of the favorite charities and organizations, let's give them a shout out here, that you actually donate to? You go months where you don't even collect paychecks. A lot of the money that you make from individual fights often goes to these different charities, and you just catch the residual from, merch sales, endorsements, and things like that. But you put most of your actual fight monies to these charities. Go ahead and drop some of those names. And IWA Network, James Seal, thank you for stepping in here, and thumbs up. I appreciate that like. You saw that you did give that. And anyone else that's watching right now, looks like we've got 6 or 7 or so actual on. Make sure all of you take the 0.2 seconds that it takes just to click that like button for Trey G to show Trey some love here. Now, Trey, go ahead and delve a little bit into some of these organizations that you donate to.
Cancer, because one of my mom's brothers, he died from cancer. So, cancer research, anything dealing with homeless children, because it's horrible out there. And Meals on Wheels to help elderly people, and soup kitchens and everything to help get homeless people food, warm blankets, and shelters. I donate to a lot of those, just so people are not just out there, cold. I don't like that. I've never liked that. I don't want it to happen. And I'm trying to get everybody to at least be stable. I know it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time, but I do donate to these things because I want everybody to be stable, have a stable place, so that they can live out their dreams, especially the ones with the kids, so that the kids can, see and reach their full potential.
Now,
like I did.
That question I did on purpose here because it transitions into meeting another couple gentlemen that are very influential in this career of ours, this community. Now, one thing that you did when you were in North Carolina is you donated to a particular orphanage. Now, this orphanage happens to have been the home for 2 individuals that you would later in your career, you had some battles with one of them, but you linked up with them in another great faction in our industry. Now, when you were there for this charity and you were donating and you had a signing, you met Colt Shields and Brett Devil Dog Hartford. Both of them grew up in this orphanage after basically losing their parents at young age. That's where you met them, and that stemmed a great friendship between you and Devil Dog, and actually brought you into the fold for Forged in Pain. So kind of tie your charity with another great faction in befriending other great superstars. So that kind of ties that in together.
Oh yes, two of my greatest friends that I've met in this industry are definitely Devil Dog and Colt Shields. That is no lie. And it took them a while to get me in Forged in Pain. That's the thing. It took like 3 people to get me in Forged in Pain. So it took Devil Dog, Colt Shields, and Gorilla Cruz to get me into Forged in Pain. Those 3 men are the reason I got in Forged in Pain.
Now, we didn't see enough of you guys together. Unfortunately, your Forged in Pain days ended rather abruptly when the faction sort of folded in 3-dub. It didn't
This is what I tell people. Forged in Pain never died. Forged in Pain never died. It evolved. We have broken up into smaller factions and evolved. Forged in Pain never dies.
You're
evolves.
Probably the 4th. We keep saying former members, but 4th member that have said that the Forged in Pain is more of it's more of a mindset than it is a physical entity. That's pretty safe to say? Okay.
Exactly. It's more of a mindset than a physical.
I'm starting to kind of piece together what you guys are meaning by that. The more I hear, I keep going back to former members saying, but the more I hear members of Forged in Pain sort of saying it, I'm starting to have that picture painted a little bit better. So it's nice hearing that again. Now, a match that we've been wanting to see for a long time. You probably know where I'm going with this. It was scheduled to happen. I don't think I've ever seen it happen on any eFed. I was hoping that it would happen here until you got hurt. It was supposed to happen in the Extreme Alternative. You guys had the falling out there, so the eFed world, our community, has sort of been gypped out of seeing the Trey Jeter versus Devil Dog one-on-one match or best of 3 series or what have you. Is that something that in your mind could still happen? Both of you still, you're getting up there in age because Devil Dog 2 had a career before wrestling, so he got his start late. But is that something that in your mind could still potentially happen while the 2 of you are still, in prime condition? I don't want to be seeing that as like an Undertaker versus Sting in their 80s type of thing.
So, I'm throwing this out there. He can message me if he's into it. For those who don't know, there is a Gaijin version that I founded of New Japan with my buddy Jeffrey Albritton. Shout out to my boy Jeffrey. And a shout out to SNW, known as Wrestle Kingdom. It's a Gaijin version. It's a Gaijin version of New Japan. Now, I am currently holding the Wrestle Kingdom Legends Championship. I'm issuing an open challenge to Devil Dog to come to get on a plane, fly to Japan, and face me for that title.
Now, I know he's watching because he's actually been texting me throughout this, and he does say, hey, what's up, Trey? And I guess he said something about trying a new crossbow. I don't know what that means. Apparently you guys hunt together or something like that. But he wants to try out a new crossbow. He hasn't responded yet about that, but I'm sure that you and he can work that out. I would definitely love to see it, and I'm sure the rest of you would. Devil Dog hates the term legend, but if it gives him a chance to face his friend Trey Jeter, I'm sure that he won't mind. Hold on one second here. Yeah, SBJ, I do hate the term legend, but if facing the Carolina Hunter means having to hold a Legends title, then sure, sign me up. So apparently Devil Dog, he's for it, and he's expecting to win that match and hold that Legends title. So I guess there's your answer there, folks, on live TV. I don't have a date on that, but it looks like you can look forward to Devil Dog versus Trey Jeter here sometime in the near future. Now, do you have a date set for, when this Legends Championship is supposed to be defended?
No set date. It's just whenever he shows up in Japan.
All right.
That's how it goes. That's how we do it. Whenever he shows up in Japan, that's when the match happens.
Now, I see some talking about matches. We see Sander Cool chatting here, talking to the Scottish Warrior, and Sander mentioned that he's getting ready for his match today and getting ready to watch his fiancée, Nora, making her debut right here in Hybrid Wrestling Alliance. Tonight at 7 p.m. is when episode 16 is scheduled to kick off. So make sure you jump back here for that, folks.
I should be here on commentary for that show. So hopefully we got to see what's happening. Got to check everything, make sure all my ducks are in a row, but I should be back on commentary for that show.
Yeah, it would be great to have you again. It's been a little while. You took a little time off. I remember you were out visiting your sister in Jamaica, and you had the coronavirus thing you were dealing with, and it's been a long trip getting back here and recovering from injuries.
I was also in Hawaii.
Trey Jeter, the world traveler, folks. How many passports do you have, Trey?
Like, how many I have maxed out, or like currently?
I guess it's an open-ended question there.
You gotta be specific, like how many I have maxed out, or how many I have currently.
All right, so let's make this a more specific question. Where have you not gone that you would like to go? That you need to get a new passport for?
India?
You've never been to India?
And it's just crazy. Out of all the places I've traveled, I've never been in. Out of all the companies I've wrestled with, I've never been to India. That's one of the places.
Me, yeah.
That is. I've been to England. I've been to Australia. I've been to Tokyo, like multiple times to Tokyo. I've been to China.
Fans don't realize just how big our sport is in India. There's a massive following in India.
No one realized how big. Like, okay, let me tell you this. Bullet Club, I love Bullet Club, expanded Bullet Empire. Anyway, no one understands how big I am in Japan until they go to Japan. That if you know my entrance, there is money that falls from the ceiling with my face on it.
Now you are 6 feet tall, so you are actually very big for Japan.
Yes. It doesn't mean the money falling from the ceiling doesn't mean shit here. Go to Japan and watch motherfuckers pick that shit up and spin that bitch. Like, the money that falls from the ceiling in my entrance is like actual currency over there, and people spin that shit.
And a lot of it probably goes right back in your pocket in merchandising sales.
Yes,
do you probably end up recycling a lot of these bills, correct?
Hell yes.
They
You don't
go
understand. My
from
buddy,
the sky into the pockets to the merchandising.
it is
right back into your pockets, and then
you don't understand.
Recycled.
My buddy Jeff, who I tag with a lot, over there in Japan.
Jeff,
4 or 5 months out.
What's a name for everybody?
Jeffrey Albritton.
Okay, is that a name that is out there in our community as well, or is he strictly over in Japan?
No, he's out there in the community. He has a show known as Shock Nation Wrestling, SNW, which, linked to that, you see me, I was on his show SNXT, that I made my way back to the other show, I think Cyclone. I'm going after the world title for the simple fact. It was another show. There was like 3 shows. It was like Cyclone, Vortex, and SNXT, where I had the global championship, which, by the way, I never lost that title. Put that out there. I never lost the SNW
Is that their
global
main
championship.
title?
That's one of their main titles. That was one of their main titles at the time. But it got disbanded, and it's now just Cyclone and SNXT, and now they have the SNW World title. So I never lost the global championship. I'm just putting that out there. I never lost the global championship. Still global champion. But when we're in Japan, when we do stay there, we're in there about 5-6 months out of the year. So rent is, by the way, I have a place there, he has a place there. But rent is high as hell in Japan. So sometimes you might see him at ringside doing my entrance, picking up the money to pay for his rent in Japan. Like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, rent is high. It's like, I understand that. You can't wait till after the match? No. Okay.
So I take it he spends his money that he makes from fighting on other things other than paying his actual bills and being responsible. So
no, here's the thing.
You pay his rent for him, it sounds like.
Because, like, the money that he actually earns goes back into S&W. So it goes back into S&W to get new talent and everything like that. So I understand that. It's like, okay, cool.
He puts himself last, so he supports his own personal off your recycled dollars, I guess.
So it's like, all right, cool. It's like, all right, cool, whatever. Because me personally, I put money into different places. I put money in WWA, JTV, SW, BCW, GSF, RWF. Here in Hybrid Wrestling Alliance, I put money into this, Wrestle Kingdom. So it's like, I put money into everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I put a large
amount of money. We had to close for a while. If for those of you who remember back, HWA was owned by Lee Jones. There was a little bit of mafia involvement, per se, allegedly. Lee Jones' alleged involvement with the Russian mafia,
which they wasn't. I'm going to confirm that, because I'm gonna say this. That was because they were all big and bad until they ran into the Jamaican mafia.
You know, I don't know how much of that we can dig into, because I'd hate to end up getting myself in trouble. But all this is, again, from HWA standpoint, allegedly.
Allegedly, that's that. It's allegedly.
And yourself, amongst a lot of others, invested a lot of money, and you are, I believe, still a shareholder at this point in the reforming of HWA, as well as other places like IWA has stake, 3Dub, LIT, a lot of you other shows combined and donated money and invested in HWA. So thank you all. CSWA, 3W, there's so many of you out there. So if I don't mention your name, I apologize, but thank you all for your contribution.
I think I actually have the biggest stake in HWA. I think. I'm not sure. I gotta check, but I think I have. If it's not the biggest, it's a pretty big chunk. It's
close. You,
it's a pretty big chunk.
Gessner, another huge contributor out there from 3Dub. I know for some reason there's a lot of our followers that don't like them, but they were very intricate in partaking of the reforming of HWA. However anyone feels about them, again, we are hybrid. We are all about building community. We've got no hate towards anyone that's out there.
No, anyone. I mean, I do have a personal issue with one guy that wrestles in 3Dub, but I told him when he got let go from my show, I told him, don't piss me off and don't cross me. And he's like, I know that you wrestle in 3Dub. It's like, if you don't understand that I have deep ties to 3Dub, I can get your ass fired. Just so, don't fuck with me. It almost happened with this guy. It almost happened like 3 weeks ago, where he got a whole nother person involved and he lied to this person and made him look like a fool.
Can we name drop?
Yes, his name is Danny Smoke. His name is Damian Smoke. Whatever. It's Damian or Danny Smoke. It's one of those two.
Okay, I've heard that name a lot. There's
a story behind that, and I told him, don't piss me off, don't cross me, because I know you wrestle with 3Dub, and my ties run deep through 3Dub. I can get your ass fired, so don't fuck with me.
Okay. I haven't heard any more about that lately, so apparently he's either listened or that issue has been resolved.
Oh yeah, now, it's been resolved. He's learned to shut his damn mouth.
Now, let's look a little bit into the future for Trey Jeter. I've noticed lately that you've actually, have trimmed down the amount of companies that you are in ring for.
Oh yeah.
So
it's not that I'm retiring. A lot of people thought I did it like, oh, so you retire? I'm like, no, I'm just in too many goddamn places.
Yeah, it's easier to focus on places, and it seems like you're more focused now on the places that you've called home. Where can people tune into now? What are the companies that you've trimmed down to, or where do you plan on hanging your hat as the final few companies that you are going to be active in?
I will always be active at HWA, whether I'm on commentary, in the ring. I'll always be active here. But the main peak places I will definitely be are those that are part of the Power Org Network, which are WWA, JTV, BCW, GSF, and RWF. And IWN when it comes out, when they finally get up and running. IWN.
RWF as Rare Breed.
Yeah, Rare Breed. They are those 6 places, including IWN when it starts up, will be mainly where I will be at. Like right now, I'm active in WWA, SNW, GSF, BCW. And I think I said SNW, but
now if you could do me a favor, Trey, after this interview is over, if you could grab those links and make a post, we can share that just so we can get those list of companies out for fans that are watching, and we can even share that post over to the hybrid page. So I have a question that I brought up on my page earlier. I actually shared it from Devil Dog. He brought it up. Do you find that it's the way that we run through a page instead of the traditional group? Do you think it's harder to follow along with what's going on in HWA? And that's an open question for anyone watching. If anyone else is watching and has an opinion on that, I'd like to hear the input.
It varies. For me, not really. It's not really that hard to follow, but it varies for different people. That's how I put it. It varies for different people, and so it just it varies for different people. So that's the best way I can put it. Okay. Like I said, for me, it's not that hard to follow, but for someone else, it may be hard to follow.
The notifications show up less or something like that? Just kind of curious.
Yeah, notifications show up a lot less.
From the page instead of the group setting.
Instead of a group, because groups is just go straight to group. It goes to your notifications, but it doesn't get as many notifications as a group would. So.
Yeah, it looks like Sander and Ian kind of both. Sander says, I think really have plus and minus. Scottish Warrior says, as a group, it's easier for him because the promos are all in sync and you can be tagged in and watch.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yep.
It makes sense.
Yep, it is.
It seems to be a little more drama in the group setting, and I think originally that was our reasoning for going to a page setting, because we can, get rid of a lot of that.
Well, with the groups now, you can pretty much do a page. What you can do on a page, you can and then you can set it up where you can approve posts and everything on a group page and all that. So, but I think that's how I do it, and it makes it easier to share too, share links and everything too, all that.
All right, so let's non-wrestling. What are some of Trey Jeter's? Do you have any hobbies? Do you collect anything outside of music, outside of fashion? We know you're huge into those. Something that the public doesn't hear about every day. Do you collect anything?
I collect a lot of
play Yu-Gi-Oh cards, or are you into Magic the Gathering? Whatever. What else are you into?
I collect video games. So I have a PS2, a PS3, PS4, and original PlayStation. I collect cars. I don't know why. I know the value of them shit's diminished. I just don't know why. I just collect cars. Cars and bikes.
And you're saying cards, not cars.
No, cars.
Cars, okay. What's your favorite car that you have?
1973 Mach 1 Ford Mustang.
That was a quick, easy answer right there. You know exactly the one. How many do you actually have?
Cars or
yeah, cars and the number of bikes. Do you know the individual count?
I have roughly 50 cars and 27 bikes.
Okay.
Give or take.
Little collection there. Do you keep them all in one area, or do you have them kind of spread out?
No, they're actually all are in my home in California, in Cali. So.
Okay, so it must be an easy transition for you to run over to San Diego once in a while to check out some of these hybrid shows. Now we are strictly over in San Diego now.
I mean, I have a collection of cars in Charleston as well. It's just not as big as the one in Cali.
Okay. Now, is there any we know your favorite. What's the most expensive or the highest valued car that you think you have?
Two. I think one of the highest is a Bugatti. And I think I got it 3 years ago, cashed in 1.2. And then I think I got it at an auction. I think it's a 1930s Phantom. I think 1936 Phantom. I think I paid like 2.3 for that one at auction.
I read an interesting story about this new Bugatti that you got. Drag racing in public in the middle of the day against another WWE superstar. And that you were actually evading the police. After that, is there any truth to this rumor?
Okay, that's actually a funny ass story. We wasn't drag racing. We weren't evading the cops. We weren't from the cops though. But what happened was we were at a bar. It was me and my cousin Quinn. We was at a bar in Cali, and so we were chilling in there. It was me, him, and his fiance. We were just chilling, and this dude hit on his fiance, and we were
That's
like,
how
"Oh no!"
So many stories start that way. In a bar, a guy hits on your woman. So many stories start that way.
She told him no. She told him no. She wasn't interested. He got mad, and next thing I know, he's coming at us, and my cousin just rocks the shit out this dude. Next thing I know, me and him are in a brawl with the whole goddamn bar. Just me and him taking out motherfuckers. We just punching, drop kicking motherfuckers. We hitting tag team wrestling moves on these motherfuckers.
I was gonna say there was rumor that you actually did a legit standing drop kick on someone in an actual bar fight.
I not just that, but we did an indie taker. Like I did a indie taker off the bar and we put a guy through a table
in the middle of a bar fight.
In the middle of the bar, I did an indie taker. He's like, no, we're not. And so
you see like, that in movies, like The Rock giving someone the rock bottom in a fight in a movie, but you don't. That's not real life stuff, Trey.
It's not. It's like it just happened in the spur of the moment. I wanted to see if we could actually pull this shit the fuck off. And we did. So he's like, yo, we gotta go. I was like, all right, nigga, bet. And the next thing you know, we're just booking it. I think we legit drove from LA to the Valley. We drove from LA to the Valley. So we're just booking it. We were gone. And we were getting chased by the cops. So, I mean...
How did you... So, police chase, we all know you can get away from the cars. But how were you avoiding helicopters? How did you not get found?
Because, like, eventually we ran out of gas. We originally ran out of gas. Yeah, we around, I think it was around San Francisco. We ran out of gas. And so we got pulled over, got arrested, and cop asked what happened. I told him what happened. Luckily, he knew who my pops was. Like, he had watched my dad as a kid, and he knew who my pops was. And his partner knew who my granddad was. Because his partner watched my granddad wrestle.
You were clocked at going...
Shit.
$150 at times.
No, that's actually false. Like 220. Like 220. We're pushing like 230 switching lanes. Like, so we're pushing like 230 switching lanes at this point.
What in the world was the dollar amount on a ticket for going 220? They have official record at 150, so it sounds like they may have shaved off a little one for official record. What's the ticket on something like that?
Before the police chief knocked it down to like 150. Oh, we were looking at like $5,000 a piece.
Jesus. I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot of money to you, but to a normal everyday person, $5,000 speeding ticket is that's a lot of dough at one point.
But they also added in the damage to the bar into the ticket. So I think we end up paying around $15,000 altogether a piece.
Jesus.
A piece.
That's the life of a professional wrestler, folks.
It really is. He's not lying. Like you don't think we don't get in that much trouble, but we get in so much trouble for no reason. Because half the time we're bored as shit and we're drunk. And
you're either traveling, wrestling, training, or drinking.
Drinking.
So that's a lifestyle, and there's no real off season in wrestling, especially when you're with so many different companies.
Yeah, there really isn't. I've Devil Dog and Stephen Benoit have been to my house in Charleston. We've gotten drunk and done dumb shit. Like it was I've gotten drunk and done dumb shit.
Now, Karen,
like, just for the hell
Karen, home, honey, I know you're watching the show, listening to our podcast. Now, when Trey is talking about us drinking and doing dumb shit, Devil Dog and Trey were doing the dumb things. I was sitting back, sipping my scotch. And that's where the crossbow... So, I'm going to share a little story, if you don't mind, Trey.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Now, the three of us there, sitting at Trey's house, and all of a sudden, Trey Jeter pulls out a crossbow. And they straight up played Robin Hood with this crossbow where they were shooting apples off each other's heads. Now, this was not a toy, a virtual thing.
Oh, shit.
They were legitimately holding apples while drunk on each other's heads and shooting them off, folks, with Trey's new crossbow. And that is where Devil Dog was mentioning that he got a new crossbow.
Okay. A lot of people know that I have a lot of tattoos. I was scared out of
my mind watching these two, folks. I can, God's honest truth.
There's an add-on to that story. So everybody knows that I have a lot of tattoos. So the reason I got neck tattoos is because Devil Dog missed and it scrapped my neck, and that's why I now have a Batman tattoo on the left side of my neck. Because Devil Dog missed and it has scraped my neck.
I thought for sure that Trey was a goner when he hit him. Now, Devil Dog was a great shot, scout, sniper, the whole nine. But a little bit of alcohol involved with firearms and things like that are not a good mix, folks. Stay away from it. I thought for sure that we had lost Trey Jeter that day. The amount of blood that shot from that man's neck, I thought for sure he was gone. And he laughed the whole time, put his hand on it. And he didn't even go to the hospital. He stopped the bleeding himself, and they basically carried on.
And the next morning, I got my tattoo. like I stopped it from bleeding. It was like, oh, it's a scratch, and ain't gonna do shit. And the next morning, I went and got my tattoo. It's like,
and that's, folks, why I'm never drinking with Trey Jeter or Devil Dog ever again. They tried to get me to hold the apple on my head after Trey got hit in the neck. So, as you can see, I declined. Karen, honey, you're watching, I declined.
It's only with Devil Dog. I only do dumb shit like that with Devil Dog. Now, if it's my buddy Nick, when he comes home in the Air Force, we're just playing pool. We're just down there chilling, playing pool, drinking, playing pool.
That's what you get for hanging out with Marines, Trey. Marines are a different breed.
Yeah, the Marines are definitely a different beat. I mean, me and Devil Dog have shot guns together drunk. We've shot crossbows. We've thrown knives at trees for
Folks
no
that are
reason at
watching,
all.
I just want to say that myself and
Not trying this.
the Hybrid Wrestling Alliance does not condone alcohol and firearms mixing together. This is a separate story. This does not affect anything that this channel, this YouTube page.
We do not
condone any of this activity. So please, folks, do not do that. Just like the WWE says, do not try any of this at home, school, anywhere. Do not mix guns and alcohol, folks. Now,
it's hilarious.
Let's see what's going on here, and we'll take another second here. Folks, if you've been enjoying this interview, make sure to click that like button, give a big thumbs up here, subscribe. Now, it looks like there's more activity going on. Sander Cool, okay, that sounds like a crazy night. Nora and I had some crazy nights as well. I don't know if we should get too much into that, Sander. I know some of the nights you guys have probably had. Sander, I've seen SBJ drunk singing America the Beautiful. You definitely have.
I've seen him. Oh no!
I have.
I've seen him drunk singing Tim McGraw.
Yep, Tim McGraw, and one of my favorite artists. And I've been occasionally known to have a few adult beverages and to sing "Achy Breaky Heart." I'm
not gonna lie. I have been drunk, and I have sung. This is how we roll by Florida Georgia Line. I sung "A Boy Named Sue" by Johnny Cash.
Do you have accessible to you any of your own personally made tracks that you can shoot a little sample for us while we're here live on air?
Always.
Shoot us something real. Maybe a new beat that you've been working on.
New beat that I've been working on. Say less. I've been working on this. Actually started working on this yesterday, to be honest.
We're about to hear some new music created by the Carolina Hunter Trey Jeter himself, folks.
That's from November. Let's see. This is something I was working on yesterday. After this freaking ad, which is so stupid. But I was working on this yesterday.
Is your music out there now that people can actually go and listen to?
Oh yeah, I can definitely.
Make sure you share that after where they can go to listen to some of Trey's music.
There's definitely music that I have out, and you know. That's something I've been toying with.
Where can we find your music, Trey?
YouTube under Unfaithful Records. Under Unfaithful Records. There's a couple tracks up there now. I haven't posted in a while, but there's a couple tracks up there as we speak.
All right, I shot that in the feed here, folks. Unfaithful Records on YouTube, where you can catch some of his music. So if you listen to this and you want to hear more of Trey's music, check it out right there. Now, we're at an hour and change right now, hour and almost 10 minutes here, Trey. Is there anything that you wanted to kind of delve into that you had on your mind that you want to talk about before we call it a show?
Life is short. That's one thing. Life is so short. Actually, because of old school night, I actually made peace with my pops. Him and my older brother, they actually had an issue with me because everybody, all the brothers, cousins, and nephews they had, all got the family tattoo. After granddad died, after grandpa died, which by the way is actually in my full name. By the way, if you want me to share that, I will share my full name after this. But they all gave me hell about it for the longest because I didn't get it. I didn't get the family tattoo. I just got the name Kawhi tatted on me, which I think it started to fade, and I got it covered up eventually. So it was like that was like my first tattoo. It was like Kawhi, and it started to fade, and that has since been covered up. But all the brothers, my nephew, my cousin Rick, not so much, but my brother and my pops came down on me heavy for not getting the family tattoo. And I pretty much told him they were like, "Oh, you don't love this family, da 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 da. You don't love this family. You didn't love granddad, da 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 da." And I straight up told him, like, "Well, fuck both of you." I was like, "I'm the only one in this family that has his name, so fuck both of you." And I hadn't talked to my dad since what, 2016, until old school night for WWA, and that was the first time I had talked to him since that conversation. So, life is short, and don't hold grudges. That's all I got to say about that.
Indeed, you don't always have to forget, but you definitely forgive and try to move on, folks. I 100% agree with that. Now, for those that had been on and those that watched the show after it has gone live, thank you all for joining. Thank you, Trey, once again for being part of this.
Oh, yeah. I also did say I would reveal my full name before we got off air.
Let's hear
it. My full name is Travis Afusa Kawhi Jeter. That is my full entire name.
I had already known that, but now the whole world does.
So I am actually named after my grandfather, High Chief Afusa Kawhi, third generation. Let's go.
All right, and again, Trey, thank you for joining. Make sure all of you remember to click that like button, subscribe. If you have any other questions for Trey, you can leave them here and they will pop up as notifications, and I will make sure Jeter gets those, or you can get to him directly. I will make a link to the WWA show, and I may even send you a link to Unfaithful Records YouTube show here at the end of this, once the processing of this show gets done. Thank you all for stepping in here.
And I will go on to the Hybrid Alliance page, and I will link everything, every show that I mentioned from SNW, JTV, GSF, podcasts that I have done, which I really do two more, do these two podcasts, but podcasts that I have done, I will link them all so that you guys can watch them. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to all of it. So this is how we do it. And if those who wants to face me, watch what we do first before you say you want to face me.
Fair enough. All right, everyone. Have a good day, and make sure you stay tuned because episode 16 of the Hybrid Universe will be here live with myself right back on this headset. I have been basically chomping at the bit over this holiday vacation to get right back here on the mic with you all. And I am so grateful to be here and doing another year in this booth. Thank you all. Like, subscribe, and I will see you tonight right back here at 7 p.m. Have a good day, folks.
Later.